If you were lucky enough like me and you grew up as a kid during the early 90s, you got to see a ton of hardcore R-rated violent films get toned down and turned to cartoons, which was amazing because let's be real, most of us 80s kids grew up watching those R-rated movies anyways. So seeing movies like RoboCop, Rambo, or Conan turn into a Saturday morning cartoon that we could marathon throughout the day was beyond incredible. However, movies and cartoons were not the only versions of these cool IPs that we would get. We got them in video game format as well. Remember playing RoboCop vs. Terminator on the Super Nintendo? Or that Judge Dredd game on the Sega Genesis? But that wasn't even enough. Does anyone remember the Toxic Avenger? That movie was over the top with gore and filled with tons of cool violence that no parent in their right mind will let their kid watch. However, luckily for us, back in the day, you actually had to go to the video store to rent your movies. And the cover of that movie didn't look bad at all. It was just some monster man holding a mop in a tutu. No parent would think twice from letting their kid watch this. Little did they know what the kid was about to witness. We would go home, pop that movie in, and boom, we had a night filled to the brim with over-the-top, good old-fashioned American New Jersey violence. This movie was one of the lucky ones as well that fit alongside Conan and Terminator and RoboCop and got another Saturday morning cartoon treatment, leading us to meet the Toxic Crusaders. Plus, if that wasn't enough, this great franchise would also be turned into a side-scrolling beat-em-up action game. But times have changed, and unfortunately, I've begun to miss those good old-fashioned days where we'd see our favorite movies turn into cartoons and games. But don't worry guys, if you miss it too, luckily for us, it seems those days of drought are behind us. As of late, plenty of those games have been making a return to the scene. Following the tales of the successful Shredder's Revenge, we have a comeback of the Toxic Crusaders. But before we take a deep dive into this toxic waste adventure, I want to take a brief moment and welcome anyone new to the channel. If you are new, please consider subscribing. I got a ton of stuff in the works that I'd love to share with you all. Also, if you do happen to enjoy the video, let me know by dropping a like. But anyways guys, we got a lot to get into, so without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so RetroWare, the guys behind the Angry Video Game Nerd video game, has announced that a new entry into the Toxic Crusaders will be coming later this year to all platforms. It will be launching at the price point of $25 US, which actually seems to be the common price point for these type of games, as both Shredder's Revenge and Streets of Rage 4 did launch at this price point. The game is going to have 4-player co-op, which is awesome. Honestly, I didn't realize how much I loved and missed playing these games with friends as a kid, as many of these games disappeared for a long while. But I had so much fun playing through Shredder's Revenge and Streets of Rage 4 in co-op with my buddies that I'm happy to see that it makes a return to Toxic Crusaders. My only question is, I don't know if this is 4-player local co-op or if it's going to support 4-player online co-op. We'll just have to wait and see. But 4-player co-op is not the only main selling point of this game. After all, you would think 4-player co-op would mean only 4 characters. Well, you would be in fact mistaken, as Toxic Crusaders will have 7 different playable characters. You will have your choice of Toxie, No Zone, Junkyard, Major Disaster, Headbanger, Yvonne, and Miss Junko. Toxie's mom will actually be a playable character in the game. Each character is said to have their own moveset and powers, which is something I like and love when it comes to games like this. It offers a ton of replay value. I'm unsure if you could play as the same character as your co-op buddies, or if the game will force you to pick a different character for each player. I don't know if you could do duplicates and clones of the characters. For example, I don't know if you could have 4 Toxies playing through the same game, or if you'd have to pick 4 different characters. That's another detail I would love to find out about. But 7 unique characters and 4 players player co-op is not the only good news about this game. We will also be getting comic book style cutscenes, with the voice work being done by Team 4 Star, the guys behind the Dragon Ball Z Abridged series. So I expect the voice work to actually be pretty good in this game, especially with those guys behind it. This is obviously a total throwback and should make us older gamers feel nostalgic. Even the soundtrack says it will make you party like it's 1991. The art style looks like a modern take on the old school arcade graphics that we used to see at our local pizza place. This game is just going to be a total fun-filled fest for us, and hopefully it's something the younger audience can enjoy as well. After all, the beat 'em up style belt games are just such a blast to play. However, not all of it is fantastic news. There are some little concerns I have, well, mainly only one concern I have about this title, and this: the game will only have 7 stages, which seems extremely low for a beat 'em up game compared to the recently released Streets of Rage 4 that had 12 stages and Shredder's Revenge that had 16 different stages. That being said, Final Vendetta only had 6 stages as well, and that game did make it work. So it really just depends how long the stages are, how unique they are, and how much replay value the game has to offer. Overall, I am pretty excited about this. I'm so happy to see all these games return to the screen. It makes me feel like a kid again, and honestly, it's something I have fun playing to this day. Plus, seeing a game like this return gives me hope that we may start to see more and more cartoons from my past make a comeback as well. Maybe one day we could get a Biker Mice from Mars game, or how about an awesome Street Sharks game where we rip up the streets on modern day platforms. With this announcement, honestly, the sky's the limit. But I want to hear what you all think. Are you excited about this news? Does it make you want to go pick up your mop and take to the streets to clean up crime? What are some other titles you would like to see return in video game format? Or do you honestly think these things should have just stayed in the past and we should move on to new experiences? Let me know in the comments down below. As for me, I got a ton of work to do, so I'm gonna get back to the grind, and I will catch you all next time. Peace.